Hey, here we are for part two with Ann Van Eron, and I hope that you really put this into perspective of the open stance, the oasis, and her joy being approaches. So listen, tune in and watch, and let me know. Let me know what you're receiving more of or what you're wanting more of in your life, as I'm always here for you. Enjoy. So, can you unpack a little bit more about that joy being?
Yes, this is something, honestly, my whole life I wanted to experience more joy. And I always felt kind of stressful given my experiences, and I always pushed myself so hard and, and we think that joy or happiness comes from when I get the next credential, and when I get in, get the kid or get the, house, or, we're always setting the next goal. And that's like the hedonic treadmill. And, I was on that too. I thought, oh, I need to write a book. I need to do this. We need to, but actually joy really is an internal experience, as you know. And, so really the process is really this allowing us to connect with our internal aliveness, and the kind of the process is really your process. It's first having the intention to savor moments of joy, to look for them, to find them. We tend to have a negativity bias, so we always look for what's not going well, and we see what the problems are. So we can have the intention to notice moments of joy and savor them, and then we have to have that awareness to check in and say, well, what's going on? I see it, envision it like a plant within me, and I check in on the little plant growing, and what does it need? So I become aware, oh, maybe it needs some more water, or maybe it needs some more fertilizer, or maybe it needs some more sun. So I kind of, what do I need to foster and allow and allow joy in my life? And then it's so it's having the intention, awareness, choice. What do I need now? And then it's these practices. So again, we'd already mentioned the practices are so we can build the neural pathway, because we're really trying. Our amygdala is active. Is again, it's the same process. Our amygdala has a set point, and my set point for a long time was more stress, and that's what I would have, and my body thought, oh, then we're okay, because that's how she is, stressed and kind of, a little worried, worried. But so I've had to really work with, it's okay to be joyful. I used to have the mind. So some of it, we have to look at our mindsets. I used to think, I came from a big family, and I can't have joy until everybody's okay. That isn't going to be the way to work. That's not so the joy being, there are different things to do, but the simple version is, to me, what I do is check in regularly too. How am I allowing joy? Am I experiencing joy? And I invite it in. I notice, oh, I want to be done well. So I tell myself, no, it can be a little messy. I let myself be more messy, and it doesn't have to be perfect. So we each have different things that we have to pay attention to. What's holding me back? Mine, I had everything too. I think I've had everything. So I thought, well, I can't have joy if others around me don't. I had, have to do everything well.
Oh, yeah.
We all have that. We all have our different, we have to say, what is that thought process? And then we have to say, no, we are, as a human, we are, look at a child. Child is naturally vibrant, alive, joyful, and it's all the trauma and all the challenges, and we learn different behaviors which don't serve us now. So if we want more, we have to say, wait a minute, I don't have to wait for everybody else to be happy. In a big family, you do have to wait for everybody, what I mean? Before you get your meal, maybe, or, that's what I learned. Oh, I'm a good person if I let everybody else, have have what's needed. So, but it's looking at our patterns, and then allow, but it's mostly having the intention, knowing the joy being, we could have joy even amid challenges and even amid disappointments, because we can connect with that basic aliveness, which you teach so well. The basic aliveness of connecting with that inner energy, that inner aliveness. And it's really always there, but we've lost it sometimes, and we can find it.
Yes, I talk about remembering your essence, remembering that spark. Remember, we all have it. And when you say the joy, and I just want people to understand, you don't have to be oh, everything's rainbows and unicorns and it's joyful and I'm so high and vibrant.
It's
We're
not
not
like,
talking about that kind of joy. We're
yeah,
talking
it's
more of the I'm connected to myself. I feel safe, supported. Life is moving with me, or I'm moving with life type of thing. And this is good. This feels good. I know that I'm living with intention, no pun intended. So
absolutely,
just that's the joy we're talking about here. So for
yeah,
those who are like,
yeah,
well,
and
I can't be like that all the time. No, we're not asking for that.
yeah. And in fact, that's why I'm using the word like joy being like kind of like relates to the aliveness within us, and more even aliveness, connecting with our inner aliveness,
Hmm.
and as opposed to dulling that part of us. And then actually we can be more enlivening for others, it ripples out. There's a ripple effect. And even just connecting with that enables us to I think that's a service we're doing to others, just being in that energy, because we know the energy around. I have someone I know who's just really negative. That, I have to get myself ready to be sometimes around real, strong negative energy, and they just go on and on about pessimism. I mean, that it's different than you feeling connected with yourself, alive,
Hmm.
and hopeful, seeing what's possible. That's a different kind of energy that we can all do our part in our circles of influence,
Oh,
and
yeah.
particularly people, organizations. You're influencing people, whether they you know it or not, by your energy and by how
Hmm.
you're holding yourself. So I think
Yeah.
we owe it to people to be in that open state, that open stance, I
Mhm.
call
Yes, and the ripple effect is it is true. It's real. I mean, I want everybody to pause here and think about a time when you've walked into a room and you felt like you had to shrink yourself, or like even at home when you're near a loved one or something and they don't even need to say anything and you already feel something's off.
it. Right.
And that's what Dr. Porges calls the neurosensory.
Yeah.
That is literally our nervous system is so heightened. It's about a foot around us, and we can sense when things are off. So when we protect our peace, when we focus on ourselves, and we know we're worthy of more, and building that through the OASIS and the open stance, then we can receive more. You know, you can have more. You already are more. That's what I just want to say. Everybody is already, you already have it.
Yeah.
It's just all the judgments, all the layers of conditioning and the protection that is like, yes, I want it, but, and then we shrink, right? Because we're uncertain. We
Exactly.
have that. Can you unpack that a little bit more, and what's happening there when people want more, as we're talking about wanting more in 2024, and but then it's like, yes, I do, and then it's like that shrinking that happens. What is that exactly?
Yeah. I mean, that again is our react. That's to me the same thing we're talking about. It's the contraction, it's the reaction. And it goes back to, we all have had experiences that have conditioned us. And I do a little exercise of conditioning people in just like 30 seconds. I mean, our experiences impact us. So if we've had a negative experience, when like this, take a simple example. It was true for me. My sister was bitten by a dog very badly. I'd been around a dog that also bit me. So how when I was young, I was conditioned to be like, oh, the feeling a little bit like, oh, here's a dog. And the dog, I'd be on the playground. Where do you think the dog would go? Go through the whole crowd and find me. And the dog is picking up our conditioning,
Hmm.
and so it's like our amygdala. I don't know if I've never used it like this before, but our amygdala has like a set point, and it knows. So we have a reaction, but we can change it. See, so we just as we were conditioned before, we are essentially reconditioning ourselves to connect with what is more natural, the aliveness in the child, the possibility, the seeing. But we all learned, hey, you get it, no, get an A, you're not good. We all learn we're not good enough. All of us have that sense, and somehow, we're not good enough, we're not capable. We've all learned these things, and we're trying to protect ourselves. So it's again back to the contraction, the amygdala saying, oh, wait a minute, we're not, it's shaky, it feels more comfortable with what it knows. So that's why we go back to, but we can override that by saying, wait a minute, I'm going to try to be, I'm going to, go out and exercise, or I'm going to go talk to someone. We try it, and then we're like, oh, that works. And we could just start small and do small actions. And then we see the benefit. So we're basically retraining ourselves, or whatever way you want to do it. So it's like you said, it's always there. We all are good enough, really. We all have the possibility. We all can see this, but it's really training, rebuilding. So the way I think of the neural pathway, it's like a meadow, that has all this big grass in it, and you're supposed to walk along the sidewalk and turn left, but you're in a hurry, so you maybe walk across, and it's not that easy at first to walk across the grass. And then the next person comes and they see that someone walks, so they walk again, and you walk again, and pretty soon that becomes the bigger path. We still have the other path. Sometimes we go back when we're tired, or it's still there, the other path, but more, we are building a bigger highway. And then the brain quickly goes to, oh, openness. Oh, I'm noticing joy. Oh, so we're building that pathway. So it's kind of simple, but the most important thing here is, as you say over and over, the mind, we can't change by thinking the mind. We've all tried, studied books, read papers, listened to things. The mind doesn't change us. It's really the body. And we have to, notice our contraction, I think, or notice the signal, or notice, and then we have to shift. So it's this really simple process of stopping, stepping back, allow yourself to cool down, and then shift into the open state. So one more thing I could say is really work on what is the open state for you, or having those body feelings. Like as I said, when I feel a moment when I'm out in nature, then I really try to savor that, and I try to remember it. I take a photo of it and have it near my desk, and then I go back and let my body feel it again. That's training your body to be in that open state. Then you can use it when you're in an interaction with someone, or when you don't want to exercise. You can try to get yourself open, and then you can maybe do a little.
Yes. It's so powerful. Even professional athletes or people that are training or something, the visualizations, visualizing something, seeing something, your body doesn't know the difference between what you're visualizing and what's actually happening. So this is why people get stuck in that trauma vortex of things, because the thoughts, those ruminating thoughts that are negatively biased, as you said, that keeps us in that stuck mode. So what's helped me is I just remind myself I'm learning something new. I give myself ease and grace, and I say, I wonder, I wonder how this will turn out, because then that alleviates the pressure. I really feel it in my body. Like it's just like oh yeah, I wonder, instead of saying, I got to do this and this has to happen that way. And if it doesn't, then that's not going to happen, and blah, blah, just the mind loves to tell us all the stories, which aren't true. It's an illusion, but that's what its job is to do, right? Is to protect ourselves. So when we can witness that, the thoughts as a protection, as saying, oh, that's my protection. Okay. Where am I right now? Where's my attention? Where am I feeling this in my body? Just as you perfectly walked us through, Anne, and stepping back, taking a breath, just seeing it for what it is. And please, no judgments on yourselves as you're taking these next steps, wanting more for yourself. That I think that's the biggest catch, is people will just judge themselves of not getting there as fast as the mind says it needs to happen. It is literally, it is the journey. It is the journey. And I'm sorry to say this also, people, that you're never going to get it done.
Right.
It's
That's true.
always happening all the time. But when you have that approach, that open stance approach, I'm going to use that, and I love it, then you can just really step back and give yourself ease and grace as you're working through this and learning
Exactly.
more about yourself. I think that's the big part. Like, oh, I'm just learning about myself and I'm unlearning old things at the same time. So it's going to feel a little wonky at first.
So well said. And we need to be kind to ourselves. I mean, I haven't always been kind to myself. So all these things, I don't want to pretend in any way. I mean, I've struggled through learning all this the hard way, and I continue to learn. I think you're absolutely right. It's a continual process, and it's fun once we say, okay, this is what it is, and we see ourselves. And the other thing that might be interesting to point out is sometimes we don't, it happens slowly, so we don't even recognize it. So sometimes it's other people saying, oh, you've changed. I had that happen. People say, oh, you've changed so much. I'm like, oh, really? So it happens kind of slowly because you're really shifting your neural pathways. We don't recognize it, but it's so worth the effort, so worth it. I have leaders that I've coached, and one comes to mind that was just, a really brilliant person, but getting so many complaints from HR. And he had no interest in coaching or any of this stuff. I mean, very rational. And once he got this, I mean, his everything changed. All the people around him now, he used to be the one that came in with all the fighting, and now he creates harmony, and he's relaxed. He's things are flowing, and he got a big promotion. They were thinking of letting him go. He was but smart, but so his whole life has changed, just by taking this kind of openness stand, and it was such an opposite of what he and many of us have been trained to do.
Mhm.
We all
Yeah.
trained, work hard, push hard, and if we can let go a little bit, we can have more. But it's not easy. I mean, but it's worth it.
Oh, it is so worth it. And also just when you can witness how things are just subtly changing, even the subtleness of it, of, oh, I was surprised I didn't react the way I used to do, or I'm going to use the traffic analogy because everybody can, relate to that. Somebody cuts you off and it's like, I have space for you.
Yeah,
You
nice.
must need to get somewhere faster than I, and that's okay. Don't take it personally. I think we take a lot of things personally. So when we are shifting and celebrating those little wins for yourself too, uh, and just when you recognize it with the awareness, then it's like, oh, it is happening because we can't see our brains. We can't see the physicality of our brains. Like I can't say to Anne, oh, your prefrontal cortex looks very healthy and vibrant today, right? We can't see it like the other muscles in our body. If you've been working out and diligent, you can see it, but it's the feeling and it's the awareness of how things are subtly shifting that you are aware about yourself. That's how you know it's working. So that way you can have more, you're relaxing, you're able to see it for what it is and obtain those little goals or whatever it is that you're wanting more of in your life.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So, Anne, what other gems do you have? Do you have any workshops coming up? Do you mentioned about your book coming out? What other resources do you have for our listeners and viewers who are interested in working with you or wanting to um, just
Yeah.
get to know you a little bit more?
Thank you. Um, yeah, I do work a lot in corporations teaching leadership programs. So I have a series of courses, and I do offer these at different times publicly. So I have the OASIS Conversations course, which is like my signature course. And then I have an open stance course, which is open stance leadership, which how do we connect with these ourselves? We do have the joy being, with my colleague and I are writing a book called Cultivating Joy Being. My other books, I do have a book called OASIS Conversations, and I have a book called Open Stance. And yeah, those, and then I do coaching. I do executive coaching, leadership coaching, and courses. So my
Great.
website is potentials.com. So I'm committed to really sharing this information, and I appreciate the opportunity of being with you. And I see that we're, kindred spirits in sharing this kind of important information. So nice to be with
Oh,
you.
thank you, Anne. And can you repeat your website again, please?
But the word is potential with an S, potentials.com. So,
Okay.
and I have one other thing might be interesting to the group is I do have an open stance community, and we have what's called open stance circles, and these are open, and they're and basically people are on the journey. So it's kind of like, I know I shouldn't say probably, but like AA, other kind of groups where people are on the journey to be open. So we meet once a month, and there's several of these groups, and they're available. And basically, we share our journey, where we are on the journey of being open, and what we're learning, and what our experience is. And then we have kind of a group coaching process. So that's
Great.
available. I want that too. It's open stance circles.
Is that on your website as well?
Yes,
Oh,
I'll give you a link for that too. So people are welcome if you want to
perfect.
be with. It's really very uh, beautiful to be with people who are all in the process of trying to be open, and it's something about that is, and I have a vision. I shouldn't, I don't know, but is I'd like to have more of these groups. And so kind of like we can go and check in and get kind of filled up with positive energy, and have other get support. And together, I think that could be a service to make life better for just the people around us when we're in this open stance. So that's one of my projects. So thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes. And just as you said during our conversation here, we're all connected and having that interaction. And when we have people witness and we talk about it, right, it keeps that energy going, it keeps that ripple effect. And then that's where we raise our vibrations and we're really co-creating, through the collective consciousness.
Exactly. We need each other. We're all in this together.
Yeah. Well, we are so grateful to have you here, and thank you so much for sharing your insights and the OASIS and open stance practice. And I am very curious about that community group. So I think you'll see me on there as well. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in and learning more about you because no one else can do this for you as you're wanting more in 2024. I hope that you found some really good nuggets here with Anne. Please reach out to her if you have any questions. Leave a comment. Let us know what you found helpful or supportive and how you are setting your intentions for 2024. Until next time, be well.
Thank you for tuning in to Ann Van Eron's interview. I hope when you walk away from this that you actually apply those approaches of the open stance, the oasis, and the joy being. And I'm also including in the description the link to Ann Van Eron's open stance once a month meeting, which is free. And it's amazing to work one on one with her and other people that are like minded. Also, to help you stay refilled through this process, I'm dropping a link in that description of free refills. So tune into those so you can refill your mind and body so that way you can receive more. Keep that momentum going, right? It's not one and done. It's your journey. It's part of the process. Until next time, my friends, be well.